Sometimes, the most astonishing discoveries happen when we least expect them. A quiet day, a familiar routine, then suddenly something appears that defies explanation. It could be a glimpse of the impossible, a relic of the past that refuses to stay buried in history. That's exactly what happened at Mount Rainier National Park. What started as an ordinary day for the park staff quickly turned into an extraordinary mystery, one that would leave experts questioning everything they thought they knew. Stay with me as we unravel a story that blurs the line between legend and reality. The group of them joined forces to take some measurements and tests in order to determine what it was that they had just witnessed. Ultimately, they found out that there was only one explanation. After a period of a century, it reappeared. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. It can be truly frightening to consider how little we actually comprehend the environment that's around us. Even now, a great deal of the planet has yet to be discovered. There are plenty of animals on the planet that no human has ever viewed. Every day, novel kinds of creatures and plants are found in different areas of the planet. It would be an extraordinary and inspiring experience to uncover a natural habitat that has been developing and adapting on its own for ages without anyone having knowledge of it. Park rangers are no strangers to seeing unusual things, but the park rangers at the Mount Rainier National Park were astounded when something unexpected occurred. Until now, nature continues to be an incomprehensible power that surprises us every day. A few instances have happened where creatures are thought to be wiped out, only for them to be seen many years later. It is peculiar to consider that nature continues to progress away from our watching. It's a realization that is both shocking and humbling. Recently, this was the case in one of America's national parks. Stephanie Jenkins put in a lot of effort as the superintendent of Mount Rainier National Park. On that special day, she predicted that things would be quite the same as any other day at the national park. She cherished her work, yet for a significant stretch she was required to guarantee that everything in the recreation center ran effectively. She had to ensure that each part of the recreation center complied with the guidelines, and it was beginning to feel dull. In any case, things were about to transform. She felt at ease with her responsibilities and was glad to be able to lend a hand to one of the most prosperous wild areas in the United States. It was an issue that she was really passionate about. Occasionally, she longed for something out of the ordinary to occur. She desired something to disrupt her regularity and bring a new experience to the creatures in the park. But she was unaware that this was about to take place. Stephanie devoted the morning to her workspace, taking care of some organizational tasks. Being the supervisor of the national park meant dedicating a good portion of her day to administration. She was not a fan of this type of work, so she was eager to finish it up. She occasionally pondered what her life would be like if she had chosen a different professional path, one that would have granted her more exposure to the untamed forces of the environment. Just then, an employee knocked on her door. She pondered the motive behind the knocking at her entrance. She uttered a polite "enter" after taking in the anxious energy emanating from the worker. She found herself both intrigued and amused as he hesitantly stepped into her chamber, wiping his expression before he spoke. "Mrs. Jenkins, we just spotted something. We have no idea what it is. It resembles an eagle, yet at the same time it looks completely unfamiliar. By looking through the records, it appears it has never been seen in this park before." Stephanie's heart raced with anticipation as she heard him speak. This was what she had been hoping for, something thrilling and surprising. But what if this was just caused by the park staff's lack of knowledge? Without delay, she left her workplace. She trailed behind the worker, who was taking her to the place where the peculiar bird of prey had been observed. Eventually, she set eyes on it. She noticed something in the sky that resembled a bird, but it was extraordinary. It was an entity she had never encountered before. Jenkins was quick to act when she spotted a bird with an incredibly long bill and stunning orange feathers. She instructed her employees to pursue the creature and take pictures so she could observe it more carefully. Once they finished, Mrs. Jenkins had the opportunity to get a better view of the peculiar bird. All of a sudden, a thought crossed her mind. Could it be? However, that seemed inconceivable. She recognized the creature as a type of bird she had come across in the past, one that was known for its orange feathers. But there was one problem. That species was believed to have died out over a century ago. Stephanie Jenkins wasted no time in hastening to the library in the park. She perused every catalog on eagles and other birds resident to the region. She spent the entire day reading, and by the end, she was certain that the peculiar eagle was the same predator rumored to have passed away 100 years ago. That particular type was very interesting. It is believed to have been brought to America from India by British colonists in the 1800s. It would consume mice, rats, and even small squirrels. At the time, its vibrant orange feathers were extremely prized for decorative and embellishing uses. Subsequently, it vanished from India and the United States. That was the opinion of the scientific world until Jenkins revealed its presence. At once, Jenkins fired off an email to the main universities in the locality. She was eager to uncover the tale of her discovery. How did that eagle endure throughout the ages in spite of the intense hunting? How many of them could be located in the vicinity? She was thrilled to find out if the peculiar bird could only be seen within the park or if it existed all across America. She yearned for the educational world to look into the unusual creature. Many universities quickly responded to Jenkins' communication. Scholars were highly intrigued by Stephanie's discovery. Unfortunately, a biologist then crushed all of Stephanie's ambitions. A zoologist recounted an account of two other feathered creatures that were a deep orange color, which were observed in Wales close to the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park. They were similar in appearance to Stephanie's bird, yet not everything was as it appeared. Everyone was amazed by the peculiar, gorgeous hue of the bird. It resembled the legendary phoenix. The bird seemed to have difficulty flying, so an enthusiastic individual grabbed it and contacted Tiggy Winkle's Wildlife Hospital. When they telephoned us to inform us that they had taken in a bird with an orange hue, we had no clue what to anticipate, and we would never have envisioned this. Tiggy Winkle's Wildlife Hospital published on their Facebook page alongside a picture of the peculiar-looking bird. Everyone was thrilled that they had potentially uncovered a novel creature. The bird seemed unlike anything anybody had ever come across. The snapshot of the attractive, blue-eyed orange bird quickly became a web-wide phenomenon. Everyone was attempting to discern which type of feathered creature it might be. The doctors at the wildlife hospital that looked at the bird noted that it emitted an incredibly strong odor when they touched it. Nevertheless, it was not a rare type of bird after all. The vets examined the orange bird more carefully and figured out that it was only a typical herring gull. This, however, did not explain why it was so brightly colored. This was an extraordinary incident that we have not encountered in some time. A cheerful orange herring gull was saved by generous individuals who caught sight of him near the A41. It was discovered that the herring seagull had managed to become covered in turmeric and curry seasonings, which also explained the odor. The bird had a lot of stuff coating its feathers, which made it hard for him to fly. We don't know how it happened, but luckily, aside from its striking color and strong scent, it was in good shape, the hospital reported in a post that became very popular. The medical team at the hospital concluded to call the seagull Vinny after the popular Indian dish vindaloo. They gave him a bath with soap and water to get his feathers spotless. He was eventually able to soak them in curry liquid, but eventually agreed to let us wash him off, they reported. Afterward, they showed an image of the bird's striking alteration. But this wasn't the primary or last occasion a seabird became too close to a pot of curry. In 2016, a picture of a feathery orange seagull doused with curry became famous on the internet. The bird, amusingly labeled gull Frazee, had attempted to scavenge some chicken from a food factory trash can and unintentionally dipped into a pot of chicken tikka masala. The staff at the manufacturing plant saved gull Frazee, and then a helper from Vail Wildlife Hospital came and got him. When he arrived, the doctors were very surprised. Studies have revealed that seagulls are more intelligent than we think. We usually view them as an annoyance on shorelines all around the globe, but they are actually quite clever birds that are able to pick up habits from one another. When a seagull with a strong liking for curry started to scavenge from the garbage cans around food plants in Wales, other seagulls began doing it as well. What did this mean for Stephanie's tangerine-feathered friend? Seagulls are able to travel long distances of up to 6,000 miles. It is possible that a British seagull that loves curry somehow made it all the way to Washington, located 3,500 miles away from the UK. The animal specialist's justification for Stephanie's revelation was valid. At first, she was crushed that what she had watched wasn't a vanished breed. She had humiliated herself in the eyes of the entire globe. Stephanie was taken aback when she discovered that the supposed rare bird she had spotted was just an ordinary seagull covered in turmeric. After recovering from her embarrassment and taking a second glance at the pictures, she couldn't help but giggle. Unbeknownst to her, an extraordinary wonder that had been unseen for over 100 years was hidden in plain sight in Mount Rainier National Park.